You are invited to partake in what God has for you. And part of that is peace. Part of that is acceptance. Part of that is a non-judgmental love. God has so much for us, and He calls the church to be a part of this. So we're going to do that today. That's what we're going to focus on. Bow your heads. Dear God, I thank you for these teens. I thank you for the love that you've shown and what you're working in their hearts and their lives. God, I want these students to get to know you, get to know what you have for them, get to know your presence. I want these students to know your heart and know what they're invited to be a part of. So God, right now we ask that your Spirit move. We ask that you move in these students. Let them hear what you have tonight, God. Let them hear. Let tonight be different. There's something going on tonight, God, that I don't want them to miss. So God, please work in their hearts, work in their lives. It's in your glorious name that we pray. Everyone says, Amen. Shalom. Yeah. All right. So, we're going to do something right now. I'm honestly nervous. Adults, I'm sorry. Here's what we're going to do. Eyes on me. We're going to do two things. One is we have our phone box up here. If your phone is a distraction and games or texting, Snapchat, whatever it is, and you want to say this time's for God, during this time, put your phone in here. The second is this. We are going to do something that you might not like. And I'm sorry. We're going to do what's called a meet and greet. So, here's what you're challenged to do. In a couple seconds, you're going to stand up, and I want you to meet someone new. Because there's 80 people in here, whatever. I know that not all of you know each other. Hey, don't lose me. Hey, so, you're going to have a second to talk in a second, but I need your eyes on me. So listen, you're going to go and you're going to meet 3 people. Here's what I want you to do, okay? You're going to ask them their name, what grade they're in, what's their favorite candy, and then at the end, you tell them what your name is, your favorite candy, your grade, and then at the end you say shalom. After you've said that and talked to 3 people, try to meet someone new, go shalom. And go find your seat. Go greet someone now. Stand up, go greet 3 people.
That shit's Hey, Simone, folks.
Take a seat. Alright. Well, good evening, everybody, again. Now, without talking, I'm going to have you raise your hands, okay? Raise your hand if you enjoyed that. Copy all. Raise your hand if you didn't get out of your seat at all. Raise your hand if it was awkward. Awkward for anybody? Alright, eyes on me, eyes on me. Take a seat. Hey. Buddy. Alright. So, first off, I know that that's awkward. I'm an extrovert. I like going, I like talking and doing a lot of stuff. I'm not huge on meeting new people. That's one of the reasons I struggle with names so much. Like I even asked today Anthony's name, like, he's been going here for like a couple months now. But it's hard and it's awkward meeting people. My grandmother, everyone say grandmommy. She's still alive. Grandmommy is the most incredible, she is the queen of meeting strangers. She would meet anybody, and we'd be like going through the Walmart checkout. And she gets there, and the lady's like, do you have cash or card? And she's like, hi, my name's Sally. Do you know my kids? This is my grandchildren. This is Andrew, Aaron, Nathan, Matthew, and Silver, Diamond, Sabitha. And these are my great-grandkids, Amara, Leilani, Ezra, and Atticus. And she goes and here's the photos of all our kids. Then she would go, here's what we're doing this week. Then she'd ask, like, do you want to come to my church? And she'd go, like, hey, do you want to come over for dinner? And then by the very end, the lady's like, oh wait, cash or card? Because it's like the entire time my grandmother would just go and meet new people and treat them with love like she's known them for years. And it's beautiful, but it was also very awkward as the little kid that's like, oh, stop talking about me, grandmother. Oh my goodness. But as it is sometimes awkward meeting and talking to random people. But today we're going to be learning about a special word called hospitality. Everyone say hospitality. Hospitality. It is a long word and it means this. It means being gracious and loving to others, but also specifically strangers. Imagine this, if I said, do you have friends and stuff over at your house? You might have friends over at your house and everything, and you could be a host and all stuff. But hospitality doesn't just mean having people and being nice to people that you like. Hospitality is showing love to strangers, to people that don't deserve it, and people in need. Look, you need to be turned around. And so that's what we're talking about tonight, because hospitality is a weird thing. But the reason why I say, as Christians, we are called to be hospitable is because Jesus did it first. We're starting a series called At the Table. We have our logo for it. But we're starting this series today. That's why we got a table over here. We're going to be using that throughout the week, the next few months. But we're talking about this coming to the table because this is what Jesus did. Elijah, do you know where Jesus did most of his ministry? At the dinner table. He hung out with tax collectors. He hung out with sex workers. He hung out with all the people in the world that no one wanted to hang out with. He would go and show them love so that they could then change their lives. And the way he showed love, his hospitality revealed his desire to nourish people's physically, but also spiritually. Hospitality reveals the desire to help fill the need of needs physically and spiritually. Because God ate all the time. He hung out. He had that stuff. That's great. But he fed people, but also he made sure that they knew that they were loved. And it was in that hospitality that changed the world. And Jesus says this. In Luke 14:12-13, Jesus says this. He says, he's talking about holding a banquet, and he says this. He turned to the host, when you put on a luncheon or banquet, he said, don't invite your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors, for they will invite you back, and that will be your only reward. Instead, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Now, first off, I might say that you'd be like, no, I'm not letting weird people into my house. But that's not all that it's meaning. But it takes it like, if Zayden is a friendly person to Luke, that's great, they're best friends. But what matters is not how Zayden treats his friends, what matters is how Zayden treats everyone else. And listen, what matters is not how you treat your friends, that's good, that's a part of love and all stuff, but what matters is, are you showing love to the people in need? Eyes on me, eyes on me. Eyes on me, guys. What matters is, are you showing the people Jesus says it. If you're nice to your friends, they can be nice back. I've been with a lot of friends, and they're like, hey, I don't have your money, can you get my meal? I'm like, yeah, I got you. And the next time, whenever I have no money, I'm like, hey, can you get my meal? He's like, yeah. It's not about it's not focusing on people that can help you out, but it's helping those who you don't expect anything back. Eyes on me. What matters is, are you showing love to those in need? Not because of what you can get, not because of what happens, because it makes you feel good, but hey, Nehemiah, I will take it back. What matters is, are you showing love to those in need? There was this guy. His name was Timothy. We called him T-Con. He was in my youth group for a while and back in New Mexico. And he's a great kid, all that stuff, got to hang out with him a lot. But he graduated high school and everything, and his mom, their whole family life was horrible. He eventually was out on the streets. He was homeless. And thanks to at the time, my fiance, she heard that he was in need and didn't have a place to stay, and she said, hey, go ask Aaron if you can stay at his house. And she saw a need and offered it, and for me, I was like, you offered to give someone my house? I don't like people. This is my space. But we prayed about it, and we were like, yeah. And so we let this kid in. We let him in, and guys, I promise you,
he's awake.
he is. Hey, buddy, I hit him. So, T-Con could never pay me back. T-Con, no matter what he could do, I promise, he ate me out of my house. And you know what? It was fine. What mattered wasn't the money. What mattered wasn't the food. What mattered wasn't me getting something out of it, because I got nothing out of it. But instead, what mattered was, when I see someone's need, am I going to help? When I see someone's need, am I going to help other people? Is my life, my hospitality, is my attitude to go and make sure people are fed and take care of physically and spiritually? Or is my focus all about me? Am I focusing to make sure that I'm comfortable? Am I focusing to make sure that I'm fed? Am I focusing to make sure that I have a relationship with Jesus? Or am I making sure that every person I come in contact with knows that they're loved, cared for, and make sure that their needs are met? The biggest thing is this, because we're at this series at the table, if you can bring that up. table is invite only. But here's the best part. You're invited. And you might ask, why are you invited? And I'll tell you this. It's not because you're invited because you're special. You're not invited because you're unique or perfect. You are invited because God shows hospitality and sees your needs and wants to meet your needs and let you know that you're loved, and He invites you to this table. He wants you to be a part. And what the point is this, and what we as Christians, what we're called to do is to build bridges, not barriers. I want to make sure that every person knows that they're invited here. I want Caesar to know that he's able to come here. I want Makaira to know that she's able to come here. Stop. I want people to know that they're loved and welcome to what God has. And we do that by building bridges, not barriers. We don't separate people because they look different. We don't separate people because they're from different places. We don't separate people because of their past. We love everyone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. It doesn't matter anything. You are invited to this table, and we're going to let you know that. Now, I do say this, Jesus, like I said, Jesus invited tax collectors and sex workers and people who struggled with sin all the time. He invited them here, and He invited them with love, and His love, when they left, it changed them. It's not like things aren't, you can do whatever you want, you're fine. But He comes, He lets you know that you're loved and you're welcome. And when you experience that love and acceptance, it will change you. You are invited to this table, and you are called to build bridges. A lot of churches build barriers. There's churches that, you have different theology, or you have different beliefs. Or they'd be like, you're an alcoholic, you're out. Or you struggle with your sexual identity, you're out. Or that you're dealing in sexual sin or pornography or all this different stuff. They separate all these different things and make sure that all those students are out and bring in the good churchy good kids. But I want you to know, if you ever have an issue, come, let's talk about it. You are loved and you will not be judged. You've been hurt. You might have been taken advantage of. Come, let's talk about it. You are not judged, you are loved. You might be struggling with addiction right now, and you might still be in it. Come. We've all gone through horrible things. You're invited, and we're going to show love. Love, hospitality is showing love and filling. Eyes on me, Bella. Bella. Hospitality is showing love and filling people's needs, both physically and spiritually. And you're called to do that. You're called to show that love. You're called to be a part of that. God wants you to go out to your schools, you to go to home, and whenever you're there, people show and know that you are willing to accept them. Doesn't matter what they've done, you're going to be loving. Doesn't matter if they can get you something or bring you something that you need, you're going to be loving either way. That's what people need to know when they come and experience Addison. When they experience you, they need to know that they are loved and accepted. And we can't do that if we're hurting people, if we're fighting people, if we're judging people. Eyes on me. Almost done. Eyes on me. We are called to be a church of hospitality, where people know that they're welcome, they're loved, and they will not be judged. We're going to go deeper into this series. We're going to talk about more what happens at the table in the next few weeks. But here's the first thing. You are invited. Doesn't matter your past. Doesn't matter what's gone on in your life. You are invited. God sees you and He knows everything about your life, and He loves you anyway. You are invited to this table. You are invited to be a part of what God has for you. The next step is you choose to accept the invitation or not. So you are invited, and I encourage you next week, I'll be giving out some stuff and everything for people who invite someone else. That they build a bridge with someone and say, hey, I want you to know about God, let's go to church. I encourage you to build bridges and invite someone to what God is doing here. Dear God, I thank you for these students. I thank you for their hearts and the fact that they do. God, you love these students so much, and it's incredible. God, your love is incredible because we don't deserve it, we don't earn it. It's nothing about that, but you show that hospitality to us, even though we can't ever give you anything in return. Guys, God, you show us that love, and we want to not only accept it, but we want to show that love to others. We want to show that love that every single person that walks in these doors, we want them to feel loved. I want every person that comes into contact with these students to feel loved and accepted. You are a good and loving God. We're going to work and talk more about what you want from us and what it means to truly be invited to the table. We thank you, we praise you, in your holy name we pray. Amen. All right. Okay. So who wants some free stuff?